Okay, so today we're going to look at reflexive pronouns. And so, what do we mean by this? Well, first of all, let's look at our normal sentence structure. We know when we look at our subject pronoun, so our subject, once again, is always the protagonist of our story. It's either the hero or the villain, it's the person who does that action. So, for pronouns, we know as the subject. Once again, our subject is our protagonist. We can look at either he, she, it, they, we, and he. We could also have John and Mary. Could be our protagonist. And oh shit, there's an I in here somewhere as well. And a you. Oh, God. All right, there we go. There's all our pronouns. So they are the doer of that action. Well, on the other side, we have what we call our objective pronouns. Our object, generally in our sentence, it is the victim. It is the receiver of the action. It's either the someone who's getting congratulations, pada bene, someone who's getting love and attention, or someone who's having an unjust and an unfair experience. And so in that case, we know what happens if I am the person who's doing the action. Well, when the world is unfair, well, then it's happening to me. You, nothing changes. You stays as you. He, when he is doing the action, everything is fine. When he's receiving the action, well, the world is happening to him. The world is happening to her. The world is happening to it. The world is happening to them. The world is happening to us. And we repeated he here for no reason whatsoever. So that's a logical sense. This is when someone here, I, is the subject, and so I teach him. I teach her. I teach them. I teach us. I teach you. Shit. But either way, there's one person who's the protagonist and one person who is the victim, the receiver of that action. And so we'll say here, as a subject, I as the verb will be you. He teaches her. She teaches us, and so forth. But they're two separate people. So we have our subject on one side and our object on the other side. Remember, our subject is the protagonist of the sentence. They are the Harry Potter of that world. And the object pronoun is, it's the Gotham City. It's the damsel in distress. Where are you going, Kat? Are you going? No? You staying? Okay. Oh, no, you're going. All right, then fucking go. No, you're halfway between staying and going. What are you doing? All right, you're going. All right, so in the same way as well, if we ignore the object pronoun, we can say he teaches Mary. When we use names, there's no such thing as pronouns. That's how you escape the whole world of pronouns, and you avoid all this kind of nonsense. Well, not nonsense, but you avoid all the problems of people getting upset that you use the wrong pronoun. Just use their names. Okay, so what is a reflexive pronoun? Well, reflexive pronoun, let's imagine that there is a mirror here. And we can see that the person doing the action is the person receiving the action. And we can see that reflection, so the reflexive in that mirror. So if it's I, well then the reflexive is me. If it's you, nothing changes. It's very easy. If it's he, of course, it becomes him. We have the same colors here? No, yellow. She, as a reflexive, well, not will be her, but they are the same person. You get what I'm fucking trying to say here? Jesus Christ, don't follow me all the time. Here it is. Okay, so when I is the same person, I'm not going to say, for example, I taught me guitar. I'd like to have, for example, I as a subject, I'm doing the action, and I am the receiver of the action. Except I can't do this. So I have to use something different. Instead of I taught me, I taught myself guitar. I didn't, but we're just going to pretend I did. So I taught myself guitar. She taught her piano? No, because her could be any girl. So she taught herself piano. And there, so now we see she is here as the subject. Fuck, where is it? Here. And in the mirror, we see her reflection. She taught herself piano. He taught him piano? No, he taught himself piano. They taught them piano? No, they taught themselves piano. You taught you piano? No, you taught yourself piano. The self is the idea of, a self is a self, right? A self is your existence, your consciousness, your state. It's you, but it's you outside of your body, disconnected from your body. It's you. So you taught yourself piano, but also, this is the only time in English where, for example, in Portuguese, we have, for example, você, which is you, but we also have vocês, which is equals you, but plural. So in English, we never really refer to vocês. We never refer to yous. Only when you're kind of sniffing paint, maybe you might refer to people as yous. But in general, it's always you. So, for example, if I was standing on a stage in front of 20,000 people, I don't say obrigado vocês. I say obrigado você. You say thank you, because even though you're speaking to the collective, you're speaking to each person individually inside that collective. So we refer to you in the singular and the plural form. And for each person, they feel that the singer said thank you to them specifically. That's the beauty of it. But in our reflexive, because it's a mirror, so when we look at you here, but let's pretend it's a teacher talking to a class of 20 students. Well, it's the first time we see in the mirror, and we see that you actually refers to a large group of people. That's the first time. So you taught yourself piano is me talking to one student. You did it. You taught yourself piano, not me. Now I'm talking to my whole class. All right, guys, listen. You taught yourselves piano, not me. You did it yourselves. So that's it. So I'm talking to that group of people. You did it yourselves. And so what other ones haven't we done here? Oh, we taught us? No. We taught ourselves. So we have myself, yourself, ourselves, themselves, no, themselves, yourselves, ourselves, oh yeah, yourself and yourselves. Then we have himself, herself, itself, and is that it? Fucking we, you, what is it? We, I, you, we, him. Oh yeah, herself. Yeah, that's it. So these three, this, these four are possessive. These come direct from her, is direct from our object pronoun. Him is from our object pronoun. It is from our object pronoun. But my is a possessive. Myself, my body, my identity, my consciousness, yourself, ourselves, and yourselves. All right, so let's look at some answers. So we can look at, for example, I taught Mark. So I taught Mark. I'm going to say with piano, whatever, piano. Or I taught myself piano. I didn't teach Mark. He taught himself. My kids, for example, yesterday, my kids taught themselves 3 songs on the piano. Faster than me, little motherfuckers. All right, so what does that mean? So we'll look at my 2 kids here. So we have here, this is Nina, and this is Tomas, and this is the piano. Does that mean that when we say my kids taught themselves, that, for example, Nina helped Tomas? No, it means that each person learned on their own, but together. So when we do something ourselves, for example, we did our homework ourselves. Does that mean we helped each other? No, it means that together as a group, we sat and we did our homework. But there are some things where collectively we can help each other. So where we look at each other. So which is, for example, I know Mary and Mary knows me. It's an unnecessary amount of clauses here. So I can say Mary and I. So now we just put the both of us together because we have 2 subjects. So make those 2 subjects into 1 subject. Now we have the verb is the same, so let's keep that same verb. So now we have this part of our sentence is done, our clause, and of course the objects are the same as the subjects. So we just put each other. Mary and I know each other. I know Mary and Mary knows me. So let's look at something here. I taught Mary piano. And paradoxically, Mary taught me piano. All right, who taught who first? So in this context, as much as this paradox makes no sense, and that's the whole point of a paradox, Mary and I taught, so that's the verb we're sharing. So first of all, we know we have 2 subjects. Our subjects and objects are the same, and they're doing the same thing to each other. So our 2 subjects, we make into 1 subject, Mary and I. The verbs are identical. So we say taught. And now our objects, these 2 people, are also the same as our subjects. So each other. Piano. No, piano. Piano. Jesus. Keep doing that shit. Mary and I taught each other piano, which means Mary taught me and I taught her, essentially. I live with my kids, of course, and my kids live with me, of course. So my kids and I live with each other. With each other. Obviously, that's a very simple one. What else do we do with each other? We make fun of each other. We make fun of each other. We like to laugh. My daughter plays a lot of pranks on me, and I try to play pranks on her, but we play pranks on each other. We inspire each other. We make each other laugh. What does that mean? Well, it means, well, I make my kids laugh, and they make me laugh. So let's look at 2 things. We could say, what's the difference here? Let me see here. No, fuck it, we'll get into here. Ignore I said anything there. All right, let's look at some examples here. So we'll look here only at the difference between reflexive or between regular pronouns. So if we look at the first one here, Amy had a great holiday. She enjoyed herself. She enjoyed the holiday, sure, but she enjoyed herself. Number 2 here, it's not my fault. So no mea culpa. You can't blame, so what is it? You can't blame myself, yourself, ourself, himself, herself, or you can't blame me, you, us, or them. Well, if it's not my fault, I'll say, well, so it's not my fault. You can't blame me. Beautiful. So in this case, I feel like I am the victim, so I make myself the victim. And this is the villain, the bad person. This is the Joker. You can't blame me. It's not my fault. If you really want to confuse a person, you can say this. It's not my fault. You can't blame yourself. Now, in theory, this is wrong because we have the reflexive pronoun. But the whole idea here is to confuse the other person. That's why you're doing it. Look, it's not my fault. You can't blame yourself. What? And then run as quickly as possible. Get the fuck out of there. But it's just playing with language to confuse a person. Let's look at the next one here. What I did was really bad. I'm ashamed of, well, shit, where am I? I'm ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed of myself. So not I'm ashamed of me, I'm ashamed of myself. Remember, so we have I, subject, me, object, myself as the reflexive. You, yourself. He, him, himself. She, her, herself. They, them, themselves. We, us, ourselves. All right, let's do another couple here. We have a problem. I hope you can help. So, we have a problem. So, the world is unjust and unfair. I hope you can help. Is it ourselves? No, because first of all, we have a different subject. So, no. Well, actually, sorry, this would be our subject. So it wouldn't be ourselves. Maybe it could be, I hope you can help yourselves, which might be true in the case of maybe the problem we have is that there's no food, there's no water, and there's nuclear bombs about to explode. I hope you can help yourselves. That's kind of true. But what we want here is, look, we have a problem. I hope you can help us. And so we, with the problem, are the victim of this story. Remember, as a victim, generally, the world is happening to us. And it's unjust, generally, it's unjust and unfair. That's generally how the victim feels. It's unjust and unfair. Let's have a look here. I want you to meet Sarah. I'll introduce to her. So to introduce a person. So I'll introduce you, and then to her. So this is my subject, my verb, my object is the person, and then directional, because introduce requires some type of direction, some type of person. I'll introduce you to them, and so this will always be objective as well. Why? Well, because anything, any person, or any verb, any action on this side of the verb is always an object. Always. It's always objective, except when it's reflexive. But for example, we could say they'll introduce, and in this case, let's say it's reflexive, themselves. Themselves, which means each person will say hello on their own behalf, or she will introduce you. Now we have to say to them, to him, to us, to her, whoever it be. But this person, this singular person, will be objective. So we have an objective pronoun and an objective pronoun, or the reflexive pronoun. Each person will do it themselves. Hi, I'm John. Hi, I'm Tim. Hi, I'm Mary. Next one. Shit, where are we? Don't worry about us. We can take care of what? Don't worry about us. We can take care of ourselves. That's it. We're good. We don't need help. We can take care of ourselves. Next one. Don't worry about the kids. Oh, yeah. Don't worry about the kids. I left them, oops, with the dog. Well, no, that's not good. That's irresponsible. Don't worry about the kids. Oh, I get it. I'll take care of myself. No, that's fucking terrible. I'll take care of them. Beautiful. I'll take care of them, or I'll look after them, because take care can also mean to kill. I gave them a key to our house so that they could let. Ooh, that's a big sentence. I gave them a key to our house so they could let, so in this case, themselves in. But here I can do many. So they could let us in. So they could let you in. So that they could let him in. So they could let her in. So they could let me in. But as a reflexive, and probably in the logic of this sentence, because here is now our subject, so they could let is our verb, and then we're going to use our reflexive pronoun here. They could let themselves in. So we can just, I painted the same color so we can see it's the same person. All right, do we have any for myself or yourself? No. Let's look at some for each other. So how long have you and Ben known each other? So you know Ben and Ben knows you. How long have you known each other? If people work too hard, they can make, well, ill. So they make themselves ill if they work too hard. Yeah, that's my excuse always. Looking after my health. Do as least as possible. I need you and you need me. Oh, wait, what's that song? I love you, you love me. We're a great big family with a Barney and Friends. I need you and you need me. We need each other. We need each other. That's true. In Britain, friends often give each other presents at Christmas, which they've stolen from countries like India and Ireland. Sorry. In Britain, friends often give each other presents, as if we don't do it in the rest of the fucking world. Often give each other presents, as opposed to the rest of the world, where those savages take from each other. Yes. Some people are selfish. Shellfish? Oh, selfish. They only think of themselves. Shit. People only think of themselves. Yeah. And pizza. Tracy and I don't see very often these days. So we don't see each other these days. Yeah, my friends and I, we rarely talk to each other. Good friendships. You can speak like once a year. It's beautiful. They've had an argument. Now they're not speaking to each other. So they're not speaking to each other. Only to themselves, to the voices in their heads, arguing with those that they love. They're not speaking to each other. They're only speaking to themselves. I'm not speaking to her, and she's not speaking to me. We're not speaking to each other. Yes. We had never met before. So we introduced, oh, all right, this is a fucking complex one. We had not met each other. Had not met each other. Hold on. Oh, we had not met before. So we introduced ourselves. Now this is just unnecessary. We introduce ourselves to each other. This next part is very much unnecessary, but it's not wrong. Because you can say, listen, yeah, we hadn't met before, so we introduced ourselves. Hi, I'm Kian. Hi, I'm Kian's Kian. And that's perfectly fine. That makes absolute sense. But if you really wanted to be specific, sure. Yeah, we hadn't met before, so we introduced ourselves to each other. Perfectly fine. But this is the most important part. We introduced ourselves. Each one did it. This is just repetition. You're just repeating the same idea. So it is redundant. Redundant. It's unnecessary. It doesn't improve the sentence at all. And this is one thing to think about when you're writing or doing anything. In all forms of editing, when I write fiction, can I open up something that I've written here? I can. Where the fuck is my book? Untitled. When you write fiction, you might, for example, let me bring you down to the chapter that I'm actually writing at the moment here. You might write all of this here. And when it comes to editing, what you're going to do is you do this. This is exactly what editing is. If you've never seen editing before, this is what it looks like. That's editing. Now, if you read that same sentence or that paragraph, and it still makes sense, and it still is complete, what you have to ask yourself is, well, why did I have this sentence there in the first place? And more often, when you write or you do anything, you're going to just keep writing and keep speaking and keep saying things. And that's really what makes, it's the hard part about learning to be a good communicator. It's knowing how to communicate simply, knowing how to be clear with your words and clear with your ideas and effective with your ideas. And so this literally is all editing is. Editing is like 90% of writing. Writing is just putting everything out on paper, just letting it flow, and then coming back and realize my brain doesn't know shit. And yeah, deleting everything your brain put there. And most of the time by deleting something, you actually improve it massively. But at the very least, if you delete it and it still makes sense, well, you have to ask yourself, why was it there in the first place? If it's not improving the sentence, if it's not making my idea more clear, well, then why is it there? I got to put it back because it's supposed to be there. So in this case, it's not improving the sentence at all. So there's no reason to say, yeah, we hadn't met before, so we introduce ourselves to each other. It's redundant, but we're going to leave it there for the fuck of it. And that's it. That's where we're going to leave today's lesson because I've got to pick up my daughter from her school. At least that's what the message says on my phone. That's it. Listen, as always, love the people who love you. Everybody else is just a piece of shit. I'll see you in the next video.